care, we know what we're talking about. Matt Gibbs in the guys over at Sunrise Automotive will treat you right. We'll treat you right.
All right, the car that I drive is a car I bought from Crossroad Auto Sales or Sunrise Automotive. I think it might have still been called Crossroad Automotive at that time, but I bought it from Matt, and it's awesome. And I know that Matt knows everything about it because he's the one who, I guess, put it into the condition to be sold again as a used car. And as I've also been going to Matt with one other car that I had, is no longer here. Died. The show is called Auto Repair with Personal Care. Matt Gibbs is here from Sunrise Automotive and Crossroad Auto Sales. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Larry.
How are you?
Stretched.
Stretched?
Yeah.
Is that better than stressed?
Yeah. Well, I think.
Oh, you stretched from your
I could have used either word, I think.
I know you have something you specifically want to say, but can I kind of throw you a little curveball?
Okay, here, let's go with a curveball.
This is from the news. This morning there was a story, and I don't necessarily want you to talk about this unless you want to, but a Jeep that has been stuck inside a Massachusetts sand dune for 40 years.
Okay.
40 years. Is set to be removed. The Cape Cod Times reports that a Jeep Wagoneer is entombed in a garage in the town of Truro that became overtaken by a sand dune decades ago, and they couldn't do anything about it because of environmental. The sand dune is natural; you can't touch it. Can you imagine? Your garage gets covered by a sand dune, and you have a Jeep in there, and it's okay. Sorry, I can't touch it now. But now they changed the rules, so they're going to get the Jeep out.
Oh.
40 years.
40 years.
Now, to me, and the lady who owns it says we haven't cranked this up in 40 years. Is this a challenge? Or is that an easy thing to do?
Well, I wouldn't say it's an easy thing to do.
40 years doing nothing. You would think everything would be frozen together, rusted together.
I wouldn't know. I've never experienced someone saying, "Hey, Matt, listen, I'm bringing my car over. It's been in the middle of a sand dune for the last 40 years. What do you think?" I have no idea what to think.
WD-40.
But, I've had vehicles that were from the Hurricane Katrina.
Right.
That were 15 feet underwater.
Oh, yes.
So
is that like one of the biggest, this is kind of really my question is, in your work, as in your career, have you had challenges that were so challenging? That's a really challenging job, I would think.
Yeah, and like the one that we dealt with from the flood of Katrina, that particular truck, it was an older Ford truck that a dad gave his son that had value and meaning, and it was.
Oh, okay. That's why that's the reason for wanting it fixed.
We actually got Pimp My Ride involved in that whole deal, and Pimp My Ride, a TV show, a reality show.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And we got those guys involved, and at the end of the day, we just found another truck that was exactly like his truck, and restored it.
Changed parts?
Yeah, we restored that truck to emulate what was destroyed in the because the cost to redo his truck was it was just too big, too large.
So I know you have some things you wanted to talk about that you're doing.
I haven't been here in a few weeks.
I know.
And it's just a lot of it. It's just been nuts. It's been crazy. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people have drove by.
Update us. Yeah, Caroline was worried about you.
Yeah, the car lot down on 441. We lost a salesperson there, and it was literally driving me crazy going back and forth between two locations. So we just moved all the cars back to the first location, which is at the 1800 Northwest 10th Street location. And so we just kind of reeled everything back in just to try to help all the chaos.
Cut down on the stress.
Yeah, it's just been overwhelming. Another thing that we did is our shop, Sunrise Automotive, I'm always looking at ways to make it better for our customers. And what we did was we got involved with our part supplier, our major part supplier, and they actually put together a program, and it's in beta testing right now. And they chose this parts distributor chose Sunrise Automotive to do this test. And this test is it's a national chain, and we're the garage in our area for this testing. And basically what's happened is anybody that comes in and gets a repair done at Sunrise Automotive, we've always offered a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty on anything that we do. Going through this program, we'll be able to offer a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty, nationwide warranty. It's also, and you get to be a part of it's kind of like an extended warranty. There's actually an extended warranty company that this parts supplier bought this extended warranty company. So it is actually an extended warranty at no charge to the customers. All you have to do is bring your car in, have it fixed with us, and you get roadside assistance, you get towing, and all these other benefits that goes along with it. And the good thing about it is, the old adage, everything you pay for, nothing is free in this world. Everybody you have to pay for whatever it is that you have. But the beauty of it is that I actually receive to the shop. So when I need a part for your car, I actually get a better price now that I'm a part of this organization in this program. I get a better price. Okay. Which means you get a better price.
Right.
So it actually, my parts costs have actually even come down a little bit. Now, in my world, I could choose to make a bigger profit. Right. But my thought is, and my thought has always been, I do have a profit margin that I have to meet to stay in business, but if I can get something, and I won't say cheaper because cheaper tends to deal with quality. I want to maintain the same quality, but since they're giving me a bigger discount, that means I get to pass on a bigger discount, so the customer gets a discount. They might not ever see it, but it's there. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. And so we've been working on this. This has taken us a couple of weeks to work through this program, get it all set up, and we finally got that all done. And so I'm just proud to say that, at Sunrise Automotive, our warranties have doubled. It's no longer 1 year, 12,000 miles, now 2 years, 24,000 miles. You get roadside assistance. If you lock your keys in your car, you are a member of this program just because you brought your car to Sunrise Automotive and had it repaired.
Wow!
So that's a huge thing for us.
Okay, now let's say there's a part that gets replaced in my car.
Okay,
name a part.
Let's just say an alternator.
Okay, the alternator goes. God forbid. Mm-hmm. I don't want any repairs right now. But let's say it goes. Okay, so you replace the alternator, and I break down.
Let's talk about Joe's car instead of your car.
Okay, so it breaks down. Now, do I get a tow only if it's the alternator that broke down?
No, okay. That was one of my questions. No.
Because how would I know?
There on the repair order, there will be another piece of paper attached to the repair order. There also should be a sticker on it, and it has a 1-800 number on it. You call the 1-800 number. You give them the invoice number, my invoice number, so that it proves to them that you took it to Sunrise Automotive.
Right.
And they will give us a call and verify the information. Once they verify that information, then it's done. Then they go on and do what they need to do. The good thing about it is, in the past, let's say you had your repairs done here, and let's say you were in Atlanta, Georgia on a road trip going somewhere and you had a problem.
Right.
Well, then that garage would notify me. I would end up having to deal with the parts people.
Oh my
All
gosh.
that stuff is eliminated.
All right. Well, if you have a question for Matt about that or anything, the number is 622-9622. I want to ask a question about that specifically when we come back, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Times of clouds and sunshine and warm on this Tuesday, high 78 to 82. Then becoming mostly cloudy Tuesday nights with a shower in spots late, low 61 to 65. Wednesday will be cloudy and not as warm with periods of rain, some heavy, and a thunderstorm. There could be some flooding, the highs in the 70s. Thursday mostly cloudy, still a bit of rain and a thunderstorm, high 76 to 80. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Want to win tickets to the Daytona 500? Of course you do, and WOCA has your chances to win. And we've made it super simple. Just tune in and listen for Larry to ask trivia questions to get your name registered. And for another even easier chance to win, just go to our Facebook page, like it, and then message us your name, email, and number, and you're registered to win the grand prize, a pair of tickets to this year's Daytona 500, plus second and third place prizes for tickets to the PowerShares Triple Q 300. So tune in, log in, and win from your friends here at WOCA, The Source.
Hey, Ocala and the Villages, it's time to fill up that bare spot with a gorgeously blooming camellia from Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens. Here's why. Bob has thousands of budded and blooming camellias now on display, and you can get your own with prices starting at a very reasonable $9.99. While you're there, be sure to load up on those spring veggies, all fresh and green and ready for planting. Yes, Bob's veggies are still the same low price. A jumbo 4-pack, just $2.99. And some of the best-looking Gerber daisies, an Ocala favorite. They're huge, and are you ready for this price? Just $2.99. $2.99 at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens. Truckload tree sale, too. A huge selection, truly amazingly low prices. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, just east of Lake Weir Avenue. They're open daily till 4:30, Saturdays till 2, in the same blooming place since 1952.
Sunrise Automotive, this is Matt.
Hey, Matt, it's Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Listen, we're going to be doing some traveling, and I need to make sure the car is in good shape.
Why don't you just bring it on by? Let us check it out. We can check all your belts, your hoses, your tires, all your fluids. In out of town, is that up north in the cold?
Yep.
Okay. Let's check your antifreeze. Also, let's make sure your washer fluid has got alcohol in it so it doesn't freeze up north, because that makes for a rotten day. And let's check your air pressure in your tires. Let's look at your brakes, make sure everything is safe and secure there. Let's go through it and just make sure everything is ready to go on the road. You due for an oil change?
Yep.
Whenever you come in to get your oil change, we always check your belts, your hoses, all your lights. We go through and make sure that everything is working properly. We check all your fluid levels. We do that every time you come in to Sunrise Automotive.
So just call you back at this number?
Yeah, just give me a call back at 690-1993 whenever you're ready to come in. And you can drop it off, leave it with us, whatever's most convenient for you. Look forward to seeing you at Sunrise Automotive.
All right, 18 minutes after 10 o'clock. The phone lines are open if you'd like to call Matt. The number is 622-9622. Sounds like some really cool reasons, some more new cool reasons to go to Sunrise Automotive. My biggest reason has always been I trust you. I am confident in your skills and your staff's skills, and you're quick and fair. The money is never a huge issue. In fact, you've been so fair to me and Robin with paying for things. Oh my gosh, there's nobody who compares. And you do have some phone calls coming in. Good morning. You're on there with Matt.
Good morning. This is Marshall.
Hey, Marshall.
Matt, I have a question for you. There is a 67 Chevelle Super Sport that is going up for auction. I think it's down in Claremont. Has 25,000 original miles on it. Has been sitting in one place for 34 years. The exterior of that was coated with Vaseline to protect the paint and all on it. But what kind of issues would you possibly be looking at as far as the engine, maybe seals in the transmission, that might have some added expense to get that thing up and going?
Well, Marshall, you just hit the nail on the head. You know, sitting there for 34 years, has it even been run, or has it just been sitting there for 34 years? Do they ever go out once a month, start it up, get the engine up to operating temperature, or does it just sit there? I would ask those questions and find out if I could find out any information. Because if it's just been sitting there and no one started it, no one's messed with it, it's just been sitting there protected, covered up for the last 34 years, I would be very, very careful about even trying to start it right now. I mean, it's a 67 Chevelle with 25,000 miles. If it's the car that I'm thinking you're thinking it is, then I would be very, very cautious and very careful, and I would be very deliberate about certain things that I do. Number one, I wouldn't even try to start it. I would turn that thing over by hand. I'd get me a ratchet and I'd crank that motor over, give it a good 10 revolutions, make sure the motor is nice and free, make sure a valve hasn't stuck in it. There would be some things that I would do before I ever put fuel and power to it to even start it. And like you said, the seals, not just in the motor and transmission, but in the rear end, the wheel bearings on them things, it's probably got full wheel drum brakes, and the bearings had just been sitting there for 34 years. I would think I'd tear that stuff apart, look at the wheel cylinders, the brake system, the master cylinder. There's a lot. Is it a factory car with power steering, with air conditioning? There's a lot that I would consider looking at the car, and then and if I chose to buy the car because it's all there and it is what it's supposed to be, I would be very, very cautious and careful before I even thought about starting it.
Okay. All right. Just I had some concerns about that and figured that might be an issue and run into some pretty expensive work. But just thought I'd check with you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for the info.
You're welcome.
It's almost like that story we had with the Jeep Wrangler, wasn't it?
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, not quite as bad, I guess.
I had a customer. He was a banker here in town forever and ever and ever, forever, and he called me up one day and asked me if I could come over and the car that they drove, the battery was dead. Can you come up by my house and jump off my car? So me and my wife happened to be out at lunch, and I said, we got to go by Harold. His name is Harold Goforth. Probably a lot of people remember Harold from years ago, but I went over to his house, and we pulled up in his driveway, and the car that, there was a Grand Marquis, and that was him and his wife's car, and it was in the garage, and next to it was a two-car garage, and next to it was a pile of junk, just a pile of stuff. But I saw this headlight. Sticking through, I just saw a headlight sticking out from underneath this stuff. So he came walking outside. I'm like, hey, Mr. Goforth, what is that over there? He said it was a 1931 Model A. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yep. He said, I've had the car, I bought it brand new in 1931.
Wow.
It's been sitting in that spot since 1965.
Wow.
And make a long story short, I ended up with the car. And so I had a tow truck company go over and pick it up and bring it over to the shop. And it was all original. It was all there. It even had the old hand crank still stuck in the front of the motor.
Wow.
And every day we tried to turn the motor over, and the motor was locked up. So I pulled the spark plugs out, and I shot PB blaster, like a penetrant lubricant. I'd shoot it down inside the cylinders, and every day I'd rock that thing. About 2.5 weeks later, I rocked it one time. Well, actually, I didn't. One of my guys did. He's a big old guy. He'd go over there and rock that thing. And one day it broke free. And he got in. He was sitting out there, and he's turning that motor, and we'd spray it, and he'd turn that motor.
Wow.
And we got that thing to run.
Wow.
After sitting there since 1965.
See, you have a story similar to what we're talking about then.
Yeah, I mean, we got it to actually run.
You have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Matt.
Morning, Matt and Larry.
Morning.
See, we got the mother-in-law that moved down to Florida about 5 years ago, retired. She lives over in the Orlando area. I got her to use synthetic oil in her car. And the thing is, she's not driving many miles now, and she called me up last week and said, I got the synthetic oil in there, and they said I'd go to 4,000 miles, and it's been over a year, and I only got 2,500 on the car. Should you change the oil because of the time, or let it go until she hits 4,000?
That's one of those tricky questions. What kind of car is it?
It's a Chevy Impala.
What year?
I believe it's about 2010.
Okay. And the reason I asked what year, I was just making sure it was fuel injection, not carburation. If it was carbureted, I'd say no doubt, changed oil, be done with it. Because what happens is, if it's carbureted, the car sits, the fuel works its way out of the bowl of the carburetor, goes in through the intake runners, and ends up back down in the crankcase. In that case, yes, the oil needs to be changed because it's contaminated. It's got fuel in it. On fuel injection, unless there's an issue with an injector leaking or something like that, then the amount of contaminants that get down into the crankcase are reduced tremendously by just having a fuel injected car.
Yeah.
One of the things I would do is I'd pull the oil dipstick, smell it, see if you don't know what oil smells like, open up a bottle of oil, smell it, and get a real good sense of what oil smells like. And if you pull the dipstick out and it smells anything other than what that's supposed to smell like, I would change the oil. If it were me, I would change the oil.
Okay, are you trying to say that actually oil will spoil when it's contaminated and have a smell?
Well, if there's fuel in the oil, you'll smell fuel. You'll smell the fuel with the oil. If you smell gas with oil, then that oil needs to come out. And that was a major problem, even with fuel-injected cars. Ford had a big problem with the fuel pressure regulators going bad, and it would cause, let's just say that the spec on this particular engine is 30 pounds of fuel pump pressure. The regulator would go bad. Now it's got 100 pounds of fuel pump pressure. There's so much gas going into the motor, it goes down into the crankcase. So if you got one that came in and ran bad and smoked, you'd pull the dipstick. If you smell gas, that the fuel pump regulator went bad, you replace that and change the oil. So, I always smell my transmission fluid, my oil, coolant. I smell things because I know what those things are supposed to smell like. And if there's an odd odor to it, I service it. I replace it.
Okay, well, we'll play. I'll call her up. We'll play it safe, and I'll have her change her oil. Just make sure there's no problem because it's like I say, once a year. It's not that expensive and anything else, and you're better safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We just have a few minutes left in the show, and I wanted to ask you if you could just repeat, because you said some things about a new kind of a double-year warranty.
Right.
And the one thing I asked you off the air, if I could just ask you on the air for the listener's sake, it was regarding if I'm in another town. I was in Chattanooga, and this actually happened to me. I call the people who can help me, AAA, whatever I had, and they said, well, what's the nearest garage to you? And I said, I don't know. I don't live here. Now, you said your system has a way for them to know on my behalf, because I wouldn't know unless I was in Ocala.
Right. And when you call them, you give them an address or zip code. Then they have a computer. They can punch it up on their computer, and any associated shop that is with this program, they'll say, okay, you got this shop that's 4.2 miles on this particular road. Here's her address and here's her phone number. So they can get real involved in helping you if you are on the road and there is something that happens. And what's good about this thing is it's not just about what was done. It's about keeping, that car is now a part of this program.
So I get my car fixed as long as there's a part that I need. As long as a new part is under my hood or wherever, then I'm covered.
And you're covered.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
Now what they do is it's an insurance company that's backing all this. So let's say you had to get the car towed. Let's say you had an alternator put on 6 months ago, but now the starter's going bad. Well, you're going to be covered under this program to get you to our shop, and they will help and assist in the towing of the vehicle, but you have to pay for that, and then you submit that bill to this insurance company, and they will assist you.
This is a really informative show. If you missed any of that, listen to the replay, because you've got a video that'll be up online by 2 o'clock today, or just simply call Matt. His number is 690-1993, right?
That's it.
690-1993. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Larry.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. New orders on immigration could be released shortly by the Department of Homeland Security.
What are called implementation memos. These are basically the instructions to Customs and Border Patrol and Immigration and Customs